Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Froggy Stocks. Nothing I say is financial advice, entertainment purposes only, not a financial advisor. I wanted to cover Vinco Ventures, BBIG. I just got into it the other day at 69 cents. My buddy was telling me about it. I'm currently up in my position, although it was halted on it's about a week ago. August 4th, I believe it was. Halted and then suspended, T12 suspension by NASDAQ due to wanting to collect more information from the company in regards to their current company structure via the CEOs and SEC filings that they have been filing potentially erroneously, as there is some intercompany strife between the directors, which consist of the interim CEO currently, John Colucci, Philip Jones, Steve Garrow, and the Farnsworth group, which don't seem to be listed on the page anymore. Lisa King, Ted Farnsworth, and another person, I forgot their name. I think I have it in my tweet here. Let's see. Either way, yeah. So there's kind of two factions fighting over BBIG right now. That's what's going on. That's why they're halted. It's actually a pretty big deal because there's a lot of investors that I know are in AMC and in GME that are in this play. And I was talking to James Garrison right there at James Garrison X on Twitter. He hosted a really good space call the other night where we talked about this. Now here is what's going on right now. The stock is halted via the NASDAQ because of reporting. It will be unhalted usually after a 10-day period if reporting requirements are put in correctly, which eventually could, if they don't report correctly, they could potentially get delisted, but I don't think that's going to happen. Currently, right now, there is a lawsuit open. It's a temporary restraining order and preliminary injunction. Here's the case information. It's in the 8th Judicial Court in the state of Nevada. Vinco did file another lawsuit with the Supreme Court of New York, pretty much for the same reason, which is really strange. The judge did give Lisa King and Ted Farnsworth, the Farnsworth group, the judge said you need to provide documentation explaining why you don't think you should be locked out of the company, as Vinco filed on behalf of the company against them. But Vinco is run by CEO John Colucci right now, who pushed that lawsuit into the Supreme Court of New York. And in that, when Lisa King and Theodore Farnsworth, decided to put the evidence in, oh yeah, Vanderbilt Roderick and Noble Eric are also defendants. These four are the Farnsworth group that are currently the defendants in the lawsuit. But when they submitted that evidence to the Supreme Court of New York, Vinco Ventures as a company then decided to drop the case, which is really weird. You file a case and you cause all this drama and you have everybody worked up, the shareholders are suffering, the company's in strife, and then you decide to dissolve the case, the dissolution at the behest of the company. Well, then they refiled in Nevada for a temporary restraining order against these four people, Ted, Lisa, Roderick, and Eric, basically trying to lock them out of the company, which is called an injunction, saying that they're not allowed to be on premise or represent the company, have access to the materials, SEC codes, cell phones, all that. So it's currently sitting in court, and all these actions have happened so far. Challenge of the judge, notice of reassignment. There was a judge reassignment to prevent any type of collusion or any type of conflict of interest. Declaration of John Colucci in support of plaintiff, Vinco Ventures Inc. Emergency motion for temporary restraining order. Civil summons. Some ex parte granting relief, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of it all, we get to the acceptance of service and motion for preliminary injunction on August 16th. That is this coming Tuesday. The hearing will be at 9:05 a.m. under Judge Timothy C. Williams, the judicial officer. The plaintiff is Vinco Ventures. They are the ones that are submitting the lawsuit against the Farnsworth group, basically. John Colucci is saying that the Farnsworth group is not basically doing the right thing. They're trying to hostily take over the company. They're filing SEC forms erroneously. They're making decisions, taking loans, doing things that John Colucci, who was just appointed CEO, I don't even think 3 weeks ago, but was a director with the company for a while, basically saying, yes, I don't trust what Farnsworth is doing. And Farnsworth is saying, no, Colucci's wrong. And these other two board members that are with Colucci are also wrong. So they're going to court and they're going to settle it out. Tuesday, we will either get a continuance or we will get some kind of decision making based on the judge saying, yes, Colucci is the interim CEO based on the company bylaws, voted in legally. You guys are restrained from the company and are no longer able to represent it. Or the judge can say, no, John Colucci was voted in irregularly, improperly, without proper meeting minutes and all board members available. The restraining order is lifted. We are giving interim CEO rights to Lisa King, which then they could push John Colucci out. It doesn't sound like they're getting along. There also is a third scenario that John Colucci and the Farnsworth group all have some kind of agenda we don't know about where they want this to go down because the true value of the company is LOMOTIF, right? Let's see, company info, presentations. LOMOTIF is a new app that is on the Apple App Store. It is the competition to TikTok. I have it. I have my account. I like it. It needs improvement as far as music licensing and such. But basically you have this. LOMOTIF highlights. This is everything that you can read about it. I suggest you go to the BBIG Investor Relations website, sign up. Very, very likely TikTok is going to get banned in the US. I've been reporting for years about the influx of US military members making TikToks that are inappropriate in terms of troop movement, troop size, equipment, everything you need to know is the enemy. And come to find out that China's using it to spy on almost everybody in the United States, if not the world. So I have a feeling TikTok will be gone soon. It's going to need a replacement. It will be LOMOTIF. Here's Lisa King, Steve Garrell, Paul Yang, some of the incoming team members. This is the 2021 proxy info, so it's a little old. In that, the next proxy is actually coming up. Vinco Ventures postponed stockholder meeting from July 26th to August 23rd. So here's the good news. August 16th, this court case is going to happen. Hopefully the judge is like, no, Colucci's the CEO, knock it off. Or they're like, no, Lisa King's the CEO. Colucci, you erroneously filed multiple lawsuits and caused intercompany strife. You broke freaking, regulations and federal campaign laws and business laws in the state of wherever, and blah, blah, blah. So one or the two, it's gonna get extended, or a decision will be made to go to a higher court, or a decision will be made to grant proper rights to one or other of the CEOs. Then they can report to the NASDAQ. It can be unsuspended and resume trading. And I will say, just before it was suspended, somebody put in a massive, massive order. I'm talking millions of shares, which made the price run to 73. Then all of a sudden, bad news started coming about lawsuits. And it got here, it got halted, and then it got suspended and hasn't resumed trading yet. But I'm hoping by Wednesday we'll see that. So like I said, I'm not bag holding BBIG. I'm in at 69 cents, so I'm not pushing this to get you into it. I just know there's a lot of people out there in the meme stock community, retail investors, that want to know what's going on. So basically, to highlight it one more time, Colucci and a couple of his board members and the Farnsworth group, Lisa King and Ted Farnsworth, they're having internal struggle over who actually controls the company as CEO. Currently, John Colucci is the interim CEO, although Lisa King was the CEO previously to this. John Colucci was voted in a board meeting where I don't think everybody was present, so I'm not sure how that went. Either way, the stock is now halted because of NASDAQ listing requirements and reporting information. It's usually a 10-day suspension. The court case for the restraining order and the injunction will be on August 16th, Tuesday, 9:03 a.m. We should hear news by the end of the day. If it's not a continuance, push to a higher court, or a dismissal, we could see a decision made to give control to the company to one or the other, which then they can report back to the NASDAQ, unhalt the stock, and then these orders that went through, these million share orders, when this is unhalted, that's a good catalyst. This should see a potential good bump, and I'm not giving any for sure price targets, but I would be willing to bet that we could see a bump back to $1.50, because this is a big gap right here. If we go back and we hit $1.10 and then we test $1.50, this gap fill could finish and we could be back up to almost $2 within a month. So that's where I'm planning on. This is where I'm playing it. The worst case scenario is Tuesday. Everything's a mess in court. No decision could be made. And the NASDAQ does not get the requirements they need to keep the listing active, and they delist the stock, and it goes to the OTC. It would go to the OTC. But in that, I don't think that's going to happen. There's too much money, too many shareholders. The company does have decent books, and there is a very big revenue stream potential in LOMOTIF. If you are in on the play, please go sign up for investor relations, get all the emails, and download the LOMOTIF app. If you're not supporting the company's product and you're an investor, that's kind of like shooting yourself in the foot. The app's pretty cool. It's not loaded up with all the garbage that's on TikTok. I'm actually enjoying it. Either way, that's all I got for you guys. We will hear more on the 16th during the court case, motion for preliminary injunction at 9:05 a.m. between Vinco Ventures, i.e. John Colucci, versus the Farnsworth Group. And when this happens and I get more information, I'll come back on and